Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Nathan Hance with Enhanced Fishing, and this week's technique of the week is the Wacky Rig. Come along with us and check it out. All right, everybody, so the Wacky Rig. For me, this is probably my favorite soft plastic presentation to throw. I've caught so many fish doing this. It's great. It's universally known. I think everybody loves this rig. In my opinion, the top soft plastic presentation, Wacky Rig, Drop Shot, Texas Rig, in that order. The Drop Shot and Texas Rig can kind of flip-flop from time to time, in my opinion, but that Wacky Rig is always my number one go-to. I absolutely love it. So, all we need for this one is two things. We need a hook of some sort. So this one here is I think this is made by Berkley. It's just a Wacky Rig hook with a weed guard on it. It's called a weedless Wacky Rig hook. So I'll talk about this hook a little more in just a second. And then the next thing that we need, and I'm gonna try and get something real colorful so that you guys can see it pretty well. Here we go. Let's use this one. A soft plastic of some sort. As you guys can see, I'm digging through over here. I've got a whole bunch of soft plastics right now. Got my Yamamoto Cinco box out, looking through all this stuff. So I am going to use a few other things as well. So I'm gonna bring those out right now. I'm going to show you guys what's up with an O-ring. And this is a Frenzy Baits Perfect O-ring setup right here. And then this is part of that tool that goes with that Frenzy Baits Perfect O-ring. So the first thing we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to take a look at our hook. So I use a hook, like I said, this one's made by Berkley. So many companies make them, but it's got a weed guard that actually attaches to the hook. There's two different styles. This one attaches to the hook. There's another one that just has the weed guard that does not attach to the hook. I personally, people don't always like these. Some people say they miss a lot of fish with them. I personally haven't had that experience. I don't feel like I've missed a lot of fish with them. I feel like if I'm getting the bites, I'm still hooking up with the fish. That being said, if I was missing a bunch of fish with this, it just hasn't been my experience, I would definitely switch up to the other style. And I will have some of the other style. I've got them coming in the mail. I don't have them right now. But this is, if you're fishing a weedy area, you're gonna want some sort of weedless Wacky hook. It's just gonna help you not get caught up all the time. So that's kind of the hook. So you don't have to have a weedless setup. If you're fishing somewhere that doesn't have a lot of weeds, it's by no means is it necessary. You can fish any type of hook. Really, all you need is a hook of some sort, and you can fish this presentation. So I'm gonna show you guys the first step to this. Let me throw this line through these eyelets real quick because it just decided to jump off a little bit on me. All right, so the first thing that you have to do for the Wacky Rig is tie your hook on. That's it. There's no weight going on it, nothing like that. It's just tying your hook on. Again, I personally generally always use the Palomar knot, so that's what I'm gonna tie real quick. My preferred knot. Need to let a little line on this real quick. Here we go. All right, so let's get this tied up. Not gonna lie, guys, I completely went through this video already and I thought I recorded it and my GoPro wasn't recording. Anyway, I was sitting there and just wasn't doing anything with this. So, all right, I've got that hook tied on. So what's the next step? Like I said, if you've only got a hook and a soft plastic, which is really all you need, how do you hook this on? Well, what you're gonna wanna start with doing is bending your soft plastic in half, okay? You bend your soft plastic in half, take your hook, and you go straight through, I'm gonna show you guys, straight through the middle of that bait and poke it out to where your soft plastic is sitting on your hook just like this. It's gonna float down like this. When it sinks, it's got some action to it. That's all you really have to do. That's the Wacky Rig. I mean, if we're talking about it, that's the Wacky Rig right there. This is how I fished this thing for years. For years I fished it this way. The things I'm gonna show you with these O-rings in just a second are things that I learned along the way and some things I do now. Saves you some money on some soft plastic sometimes and stuff like that. So that's it though, right there. That's the Wacky Rig. You can go out and fish it just like this. All right, so now let's talk about these O-rings. So this is just an O-ring, a regular O-ring that I bought at I bought a pack of them at Walmart. I don't even remember when, but just got a bunch of O-rings. I've got a whole bunch of them in my bag. So how do you use this? How's it work in the Wacky Rig? Well, it's simple. Slide it over one end, slide it to about the halfway mark, wherever that might be. And then you take your hook, and this is where there's probably some argument or communication, some differences in this. So one way you can do it, which is how I've done it, and I've caught fish this way, is to just hook it right there, right through the O-ring, and there you go. Now when the fish bite this, it's not gonna rip through the worm, it's just going to pull up your O-ring. You know what I mean? You're not going to necessarily lose or damage this entire worm, this entire soft plastic, and you can use it again. So the other thing that people have done, that I've seen people do, and I've done it as well, I'm not gonna say I haven't, is you still go through. So you look at your bait, you hook through the fatty portion, but you go, your hook starts on one side of the O-ring right there, and comes out on the other side of the O-ring. So that when it does rip through a little bit, if it rips through a little bit, you're still getting it caught on the O-ring. You're not necessarily always losing the plastic, and you don't have to replace the plastic as much. So why the two different ways? Why do people want to do it one way or the other? So when you hook it through the first way that I showed you, where you just hook through the O-ring, if you look at how this is facing, it's facing with the worm, and you can have hook set issues. People have had complaints about missing fish fishing it this way. How the fish grab it, how it comes in their mouth. It just doesn't quite get that same hook set. That hookup ratio is not as good with this. I personally, I haven't experimented with it enough. I haven't really looked at the statistics enough to see, for me, what the difference is. So the other way, like I said, you go through, here you go. So now the hook is kind of forward, it's kind of opposite of the O-ring. So you're gonna have better hookup ratios there. I mean, again, I haven't done the experiment. Maybe I'll do a video where I go out and I fish this several different ways. Maybe when the next time that a Wacky Rig bite is really on for me, I'll do a little experiment. I'll do that, and I'll see if I'm missing fish, or what my opinion is on that. I really don't have one right now because I haven't tried it out and experimented around enough with it, and so I can't really say honestly how I feel about that. All right, so the Frenzy Baits Perfect Wacky O-ring tool. I think that's what it's called. What is it? It's the Frenzy Perfect Wacky O-rings. This is an awesome little tool. Guys, I am in no way sponsored or associated with Frenzy Baits. I love this product. I think this is great. And so I'm gonna show you guys how to use it because I use it. So what you do is you slide your worm in your soft plastic, whatever soft plastic it is. You slide it in, you take your O-ring. As you see, your O-ring goes right over this, and then boop, pops right out on there. So there you go, it's just about halfway, perfect. Now this comes with a bigger size as well, so you can do either side if you've got bigger worms or bigger O-rings. So then what do you do? Well, then you come and you hook this straight through. Just got my finger a little bit, that doesn't feel good. Come straight through, And look at that. So now you're not coming through the worm at all. It's got this perfect little saddle at the top, or this little hole at the top to go through. It's a little different than other O-rings. But look at the orientation of your hook. It's not sitting the same direction as the worm, which is the complaint with hooking it straight through the O-ring, the way I showed you guys just a second ago, like I said. But it's not going through your worm at all. So it's not damaging your worm at all. And the great thing about that is fish can eat this same worm all day long potentially, and you never have to replace it, and you're now saving money on soft plastics. So I love this little setup. I love this this perfect O-ring. I think it's great. I think it's awesome, and that's what I love to use. So Frenzy also makes a it's called the Wacky saddle, I believe. I don't have any of those with me, so I can't show you guys those or how they work, but just great tool, great technique, great thing. If you're not wanting to go through soft plastics all the time, you can check it out. So that's it, guys. That right there is the Wacky Rig. So let's talk real quick about fishing it, because we always need to discuss how do we fish these things. This one's simple. You cast it out there and you let it sink. Generally, so for me, I love pitching that or throwing this around shade, especially in the summertime. I throw this thing into a shady spot. It's on the sink, and generally that's it. You're not having to move the rod or anything, because on that sink, something's biting it, something's eating it. It happens all the time. I've had it happen so many times I can't even tell you. So if it sinks and it gets to the bottom and it stops, then what do? Well, just pop it a couple times. Pop it up so that it comes up, and then it'll sink back down. And then just keep doing that as you bring it back. You know, fish around whatever structure you're fishing, fish around the shade, whatever you're fishing. And then, like I said with the Texas rig, just kind of experiment with it. Do different things, try different things out. See what works for you. Don't be afraid to try different things with any of these techniques that I tell you guys. Like I said in the first video, these are the ways that I do it. This is what I've been successful with. This is not the only way or the way. I am not the fishing god. This is just what I've seen success with, and I want to share with you guys. So don't be afraid to experiment. Any of these techniques I show you, experiment with them. See what you like, see what works for you. And if you've got something new, drop it in the comments. I would love to hear it. I am always loving to learn more about fishing. Like, to me, that's just one of the best. I love teaching, I love showing people what I know, and I love learning from others. So, like I said, get out there, fish it, try it, experiment it, drop it in the comments. Guys, this right here, this is the Wacky Rig. This is by far, in my opinion, the best soft plastic rig that's out there, like I said. So, go out there, try it, let me know, drop some pictures on my Facebook or on my Instagram if you catch some big ones. Let me see what you get. I want to see what you guys catch with this. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, drop them below in the comments. Let me hear about it. And again, if there's a technique that you want to know about, there's something you want to learn more about, drop it below in the comments. I can tell you right now, next week we're talking drop shot. So it's going to be a great video. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Tight lines, get out there, catch a big one, and I hope this enhanced your fishing experience.